Hi, this is Guy Hebert, former NHL goaltender, and this is the Mask and the Mic. And you know what? I'm the mask. He's the mic. And boy, are you guys going to be shocked at the guest that we're going to have on our podcast today.
That's going to be fun. And he's going to sit right in the seat right here.
He's right. He's not here right now.
Yes.
But he will be here soon.
Stanley Cup champion, Hall of Famer, and now author. We are talking about the Chris Pronger will be joining us, talking about his new book, Earned, which comes out on April the 14th. Make sure I get that right. It's going to be fun. Whenever you have Chris in the room, you know it's going to be very entertaining. So hopefully you enjoy the podcast and Gibo.
And good for us.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of The Mask and the Mic. Kent French, Guy Hebert, and Chris Pronger joining the program. We are on location. We had to go find him and make this happen. We teased
we
it.
Have to go to him. He doesn't come to us.
He's the guest. We were efforting. We teased a guest, and we were like, we're going to have a very special guest, but we didn't know if we were going to be able to find said special guest.
You've tracked me down.
There's a crack in his window of all the things he's doing for, I guess, a promotion of some sort.
Well, and truth be told, I thought the promotion was already out.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's
you wanted
not
sale
out
numbers.
Yet. I wanted sale numbers.
You've been really on top of things, Kent. Thank you for that.
Right now, the we could get pre-sale numbers.
Yes, we could get pre-sale numbers.
Yeah. They're currently at zero.
So let's get things talked about. Let's talk about Earned.
Yes.
Let's talk about Earned here as we sit in a undisclosed location in Anaheim in a conference room.
Near maybe a park of sorts.
with ears. Yes, ears are popular. Yes. Earned, author, Chris Pronger, amongst your many accolades. Has it digested that you are now an author?
Probably not till it officially launches and people read it and you start getting the feedback that you may or may not want. There's a lot of people that like me. There's a lot of people that don't like me. Well, but as long as they read the book and they have an opinion one way or the other, then that really doesn't matter.
Is this officially a junket? Are we a media junket right now? Because you're on.
You're part of it. You're officially in-house is part of it.
You're part of a book tour right now, right? You're kind of rolling around.
Kind of rolling it out. I was in, obviously Amazon Prime. I was in Denver. We did a nice little hit on the book. Here, up in LA, where was I?
In Philly.
I was in Philly. Then I was in Edmonton earlier. Then I was in New York. Just kind of been bouncing around, and I have a big. Promo launch next week when it comes out, April 14th. So 13th, I'm actually doing Blues TV.
Okay.
Actually, sorry, let me back that up. The 11th, I'm doing Hockey Night in Canada.
Okay.
The 13th, I'm doing Blues TV. Then I'm doing an event with the Blues on book launch day and obviously doing a bunch of media stuff. And then all the rest of the week, I'm doing a couple events, some book signings, and some other things that hopefully people will kind of come out to.
We'd be
he's selling a lot of blues, St. Louis blues. I'm looking at the cover of the book, and he's
I live in St. Louis, so hey,
I know, and a former Blue.
Had I won that in St. Louis, maybe the cover would have been that. But
this is true. Yeah. This is true.
I didn't.
Yeah. But you were at Honda Center.
I was at Honda Center last night. Actually,
against the
funny enough, the Blues.
Shocking how that works.
Hold on. Hey, the Ducks picked that game. I gave them two options today against the Flames and yesterday against the Blues, and they chose the Friday night.
So when we read Earned, I'm not a reader, just so you know, but I will.
It's going to be book on tape.
It will be on audiobook. Yes. Now, do you guys know?
You were behind a mic. Your voice.
Yes. Do you know who did the forward?
No.
Sean Pronger.
Teemu Selanne.
And I got him to read the audiobook part.
No way.
Or the forward.
Did you really?
No one is ever going to be able to understand a word of that forward.
We're going to have the forward done in
English.
English.
Because we know how Teemu speaks English, right? I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. I don't know if you realize, but in-house had to interview him a lot.
Oh.
A lot. A lot.
An awful lot.
Oh, my God.
Hey, sorry, Teemu, by the way.
My happy place. Yes.
Yeah. I hope I still get that.
Well, here's the irony of
restaurant.
that, Chris Pronger, is as you sit here and stare at the scar on my forehead.
Yes. Sorry about that, by the way.
A little disagreement before the podcast.
I had a run-in with a dermatologist. That's what happened.
Retribution for
Thank you. Yes.
Years gone by.
Absolutely, yes. I'm warned. I'm warned.
Yes.
Mr. Selanne gave you a scar into the boards in the Olympics.
Mine is sealed up much better than yours. And I do show that picture in the book.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, it's the only hit he ever.
It is.
Right. I mean, literally.
It pretty is. Yeah, pretty
and
much.
Barely looks like it's from behind. Barely.
Yeah, barely.
Needless to say that, has never come up.
No. It's so funny. You were so pissed off, and rightfully so. And then all of a sudden you end up getting traded and cruise over there, and here we go. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the hockey world, right?
Exactly.
I mean, your enemy one day is your best friend the next day, because it does happen. Probably way too much.
Well, we turn the page quickly.
Yeah,
Literally.
Yes.
Now we're
literally and
look
figuratively.
see how we're doing this now? It all comes back to earned.
Yes.
So tell me about earned. What will we find in this book?
It is as I like to say, it's part memoir, part life lessons gleaned from my early years, my career, and then post-playing days. And it's a playbook of sorts that kind of walks people through, how to accept and take ownership of decisions, betting on yourself, and then putting in the work and earning every opportunity you get. And along the way, talking about setting standards and what that means and what those non-negotiables should look like. Adversity, how we need to lean into it. I'm a firm believer throughout the course of my career, adversity has been a gift. And that's where I've made my biggest moves and most growth that I've had in my career and in my life has been through adversity. Getting traded to here from Edmonton is in the book. There's obviously a big part of the book from Edmonton to Anaheim and obviously winning the Stanley Cup and what that meant, getting another kick at it and, life lessons along the way. And, you have to really understand with respect to earned, you have to understand opportunities only come along so often. You have to make sure you're prepared, you're putting in the work, and investing in yourself and what that looks like.
I mean, honestly, like you talk to anybody who's been able to be successful, probably in any walk of life, not just athletics, is you never know when you're going to get a second chance.
Yeah.
And if you were not, I mean, I'm glad you said that because, I mean, I lived looking for one chance. And I knew if I could be good or play or perform at a high level during that one chance, then that opens the door to maybe another chance.
Yep.
Unfortunately, in the world of pro sports or sports in general, as you're trying to go from one level to the next, is that if you don't take advantage of that, and adversity is part of that too. Sometimes you fall flat on your face and you fail, and then you can either go away quietly, or you can kind of say, okay, whatever happened here, it can't happen again, and I need to improve to be able to get, if I'm lucky enough to get another chance. So, I mean, I love the fact that you've brought that up, and, I know a lot of people always say, like, hey, when athletes write a book, like, I want to hear about some of the fun stories, the stories behind the scenes, and are there any stories like that in the book that, I mean, don't share them now, obviously.
There's I get real in the book. There's a lot of peeling back the onion layers, if you will, and exposing myself, not in that way, Kent.
Yeah.
But talking about, difficult stories and difficult moments throughout playing career, post-playing career. A lot of the stories that are in here, you can't Google, so it's not one of those books that, I could have just Googled the whole thing and read up on all the different occurrences and experiences and moments in somebody's life. And so a lot of these stories that are in the book are not Googleable. They're all up here in the vault. And moments that I've kind of kept secret to my, the people that were a part of those stories. And really, the book is more just about me, my journey, the path I took. It's funny, listening to Connor Hellebuck talk this year after winning the gold medal, people were shocked that he never played AAA. I talk about it in the book. I never played AAA. I played high school hockey, which, as you guys know, in Canada is not really the chosen path of many. But I chose to do it for various reasons. I talk about them in the book. And, I was going to go to college and chose not to. And as I tell my kids, we don't play the what-if game. Like, what if I didn't do this? If you play the what-if game, everything else after that moment is going to change. And so last night at the game, I got asked, well, what if you didn't go to Edmonton? What if you didn't ask for a trade? Well, I'm like, well, then I'm not here. I'm not winning a cup. Everything after that changes. And so the narrative probably around me changes. Maybe I don't win a cup. Maybe I go somewhere else and we don't have a good enough team. You play that, and then I'm not regarded as maybe a great leader. Maybe all those questions and assumptions and things that the media scrutiny that was going on in St. Louis when I was there maybe that continues throughout the course of the rest of my career, like we've seen other guys deal with. So, the narrative that playing the what if I don't go this and do this, everything else is going to be the same is, I think a falsehood.
Why was it important for you to put all this stuff up in your head? Like you said, the stuff that you can't Google. Why was it important for you to put it in a book?
Well, I think people have to, if they're going to read a playbook of sorts, or you're trying to impart some wisdom on them, they need to know why. What have you done in your life why should I listen to you?
The credibility factor?
Yeah, credibility. And I think if people understand and see that you're being real and raw with them about different moments, I talk about in the book, 2.5 years ago, I quit drinking. And why did I do that? And how has that given me the clarity to begin kind of reimagining my life and building a speaking platform and getting into broadcasting and writing a book and all those things. So it just, I talk about all those things in the book that I hope resonates with people and has an impact on people, and they're able to level up and be a difference maker in their own lives.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, I think all of us have those stories.
Yeah.
And sometimes not brave enough to decide we want to share those stories. And again, that's like, great credit to yourself of being like, hey, I'm going to open up my life to people, not just for you or whatever, but it's going to hopefully make other people understand that whatever they're going through, good and bad, challenges on the ice, off the ice, or whatever, that they can, either face it and, find a way to fix whatever's broken, or make themselves or someone else in their lives better. And it's funny because, it's funny you said you went to played high school hockey, you didn't play AAA. That's why I didn't go to prep school. I stayed at my local, little small private, all Catholic military high school. And, then I was going to go Division I and wasn't a great fit. And then I'm like, I can go to this Division II school, get a great education. Yeah. Still going to keep the dream alive of going to the NHL, right? That's just what I want to do. I don't know how I'm getting there, but I'm just going to go and play. And so, a lot of people just don't know what we've all been through and what our journey's been. And I don't want to steal it from your brother, Sean, of course. I'm not a journeyman.
It's all connected somehow.
It's all part of the flywheel.
Yeah, it's another plug for a Pronger right there. But it's funny because I think we all have very unique journeys getting to where we've been able to get to and achieve the goals that we have. And I think it is really great to share those journeys with people. And earned is perfect wording for the title of your book, because it takes so much effort for us, and I'll just speak generally about or specifically about professional hockey, to get to the NHL level and then have success at that level. I mean, the stuff that you have to do, the people and the things you have to block out. Yeah. I look back now, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, is so my college, Hamilton College, just won the NCAA Division III national championship.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Well done, fellas.
Yes, well done. Yeah, it's the shout out to Hamilton College once again.
Yes, Hammy.
Took 13 minutes to get there.
Yeah, that's hey, I mean, when it's your own podcast, you can say whatever.
Bogarting the mic right now.
Whatever you want. But I don't even know what I was going to say because I'm just so happy about Hamilton winning. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just that fact that, having kids, kind of grow up dreaming the dream, and the effort that it takes to get there and the effort it takes to stay there. I guess my point is that I blocked out so much. People are like, well, did you do this when you played? Did you do that? Did you give back to your college? Did you keep in contact with them? Did you do all this other stuff? And I'm like, I didn't. I just had blinders on because my job was
focus on my job.
Yeah. And I'm like, I feel bad that maybe wasn't more aware.
Yeah.
But for me to be successful, that's what I felt like I had to do. And then when I was retired and done and the game was over, then I felt like I could open up to, all those things that I had personally had to block out.
Yeah. And I walk through, we're all on our own unique journey, our own path. Yours is different than mine. Mine's different than his. It's just too often we look at, especially in sports, youth sports specifically, everybody's looking at a path that person took. And that's the right path. No, everybody. My brother played AAA hockey, and he was on a bus, and he's traveling 10, 14 hours. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to, I'm 14 years old playing high school hockey in grade 9 against guys that got beards and, they're 19, 20 years old, and they've come back from various junior opportunities and things. Like, they were good players for that. You know, I'm 14, I'm playing against 19, 20-year-olds. I'm like, man, these guys are good. You know, and then it's about challenging yourself. And throughout the course of the book, I'm like, you have to challenge yourself. You have to push yourself. If you're not facing adversity, you're not challenging yourself to get to that next level.
Is there some therapy in this book for you to kind of deal with some things? You mentioned even when you stopped drinking and certain things. I know you dealt with some injuries along the way that have been affected you. Like, are those some of the things you kind of go through? Does that kind of helped you?
Yeah, I dig into them. I think it's a little cathartic to kind of put it on paper and put it. But I wrote the book to really have an impact on people and hope I think too often, to Guy's point, we don't talk about things that are negative. You know, I wanted to show that, listen, I've had a lot of success. And I talk about, people always, they see the rings and the championships and the trophies and all the good stuff and all the awards. They always forget where you started.
Yep.
And, I talk about getting booed in Hartford, then getting booed in St. Louis, and, how the despair and the darkness and the depression and just how am I going to get out of this? And, the woe is me. And I talk about it. I had to get rid of the victimhood mentality. I had to set standards. And once I did that, things started to go on a better trajectory. But, they think, oh, it was easy. Oh, look at how big you are. And I'm like, well, there's plenty of big guys that play hockey that don't amount to nothing.
That's true.
And so you try to explain that to people. They don't want to hear it. I'm like, well, then what do you think they have? Victimhood mentality. It's somebody else's fault. And until you take ownership of your life, of your career, and really invest in it and say, what are you willing to do? We hear people talk about, I want to be the greatest. Okay. What are you doing about it? How much are you willing to sacrifice? How dedicated are you? How hard do you work? And you start looking at all these things and you're like, I talk about, like, I heard Michael Phelps talk. He's like, for 12 straight years, 365 days a year, he was in the pool. Christmas in the pool, like birthday in the pool, like everything. That's how dedicated he was to be the best.
Yep.
It was him against him, always looking to try to level up and beat his score and beat his time. And so when you have that dedication, that single-minded focus of, I am going to be undenied, you're going to amount to a lot.
When did you decide you wanted to share this message of motivation and to motivate other people? Because obviously the book is a complement to what you're doing on stage throughout the country, throughout the world, really, as an international speaker. But being on stage, corporations, whatever it is, you are there telling your story. When did that become important to you to be able to do that and motivate other people to be great?
I think after, it was kind of, believe it or not, after COVID, I'm sure everybody's in the same boat. I was hitting it pretty hard, as most people were. I think we can all say COVID was not good for us. On any number of fronts. And, it just kind of spilled over into my everyday life where it just became a habit. It wasn't like I had to do it. That's what I did.
Yep.
Just kind of became a habit. And, I talk about in the book, like, the habits and the discipline that we have and the consistency with which we do that is what's going to tell the story. How dedicated we are to making a difference and being better at whatever, whether it's public speaking and getting out there and getting the reps and doing it, whether it's writing a book, whether it's doing broadcasting, whether it's playing hockey, whether it's running a business, whatever it is. You have to understand the discipline that it takes and the habits you have to get into and do them every single day. And it becomes a function of your life. And if you don't do something, you feel like you feel like you're missing something. What am I missing? What did I not do today? And it starts to feel awkward. And so talk about that a lot in the book. And really, as I looked at it, once I stopped drinking, I kind of had a clarity moment of what do I want to do and what impact can I have on people, and started to really kind of look back at my career in a different way.
Okay.
You have success and all the different stuff. You start looking back, not in a what-if way, but thinking back on all those moments where I had a decision to make. After, I went through my roller coaster ride in Hartford and St. Louis, it was more like, okay, once I figured it out, what about these other decisions? Once I figured out how to play the game and then play it at a high level, what were the mistakes that I made and what was the reasoning behind it? And not that I was trying to change them, but think about what messaging could I use to kind of tell other people about it and how they could learn from my mistakes, my wins, my losses, and really kind of dig into that a little bit more. And a friend of mine is a performance coach, and I just ran into him one day, and he's like, man, you'd be really good at this. You should get into public speaking. And I'd been asked to go do different talks and things over the years, and would kind of go in, not that I was unprepared, but there was no real messaging.
Yep.
Go in, tell some stories, as you say, and just talk about the game and talk about all funny locker room stories and all the rest of that. But they're not walking out of there with a tangible, something they could implement in their lives that's going to make their lives better. You know, they're having a laugh, and then they wake up tomorrow and they're like, what do I do?
Yep.
And so as I kind of sat down to kind of put these speeches together and figure out what kind of impact I could have with them, then I started to see a framework for a book, and then I started kind of digging into it a little bit more. And as I made the speeches, I'm like, okay, this is the start of a book, and then I need to put some of these stories to kind of that tells the story of, you know, what people can do to level up and be difference makers.
I have a question, because I think this is, everybody can take something from this book. That's what I'm getting. Can't wait to read it. But, you know, as a former player, right, there's a day that we realize, or someone is telling us it's over, right? Hey, thanks for what you did, or thanks for nothing. And now you all of a sudden are moving on into retirement, or whatever the next phase is, right? Yeah. You're retiring from the game. I think for most guys, if not all of us, it's the lack of structure, right? You know, got to get up this time in the morning because I got to get to the rink. I got to get the rink at this time because I got to stretch. I've got to do this before I get ready to get on the ice. And so, like, your day, as you know, like, our days are planned out by somebody else for us, and we just follow that schedule. Yeah. Whether it's practice day, game day, or even if it's a day off, it's like a scheduled day off. And it's like, okay, well, but you need treatment, so you got to go and see the trainer for treatment on your day off. And I think when we retire, there's that, you kind of lose a sense of yourself, right? Because all of a sudden, you don't know what to do. No one's telling you what to do. Or it's like, I remember, like, I got to book my own flight. Yeah. I'm like, how do I book an airplane ticket, right? It's like, oh,
there's no bus.
Whatever. I'm like, what? I'm like,
where's my car?
Yeah. And so it's seriously, like, it's a rude awakening to reality of, like, what next? And so, I mean, I think I'm getting that, like, this book is going to help a lot of people just understand that, like, you know, it's not just athletes retiring and then, like, what do I do now? It's just everybody on every walk of life who has a change in their lifestyle that is like, okay, well, what do I do next, and how can I prepare myself? Yeah. And I think, you know, I mean, the history of a lot of sports is that we get done, you know, hopefully we got a little bit of money in the bank, and in a transition to something else, there's trouble, right? There's pitfalls because, you know, it's a lack of identity. You lose your identity of being, you know, Chris Pronger, Guy Hebert, whoever, and you're like, okay, well, how do I, you know, do I reimagine myself? Do I reinvent myself? Do I stay in my same lane as, you know, this is what I know, this is what I love, is hockey, I want to stay in it. But I think it's an interesting thing. I'd love to know, like when you give these talks, like, is it geared more toward the athlete, or is it 50-50 with anybody else in the business world? I mean, how does it matter? Like, when people are calling and saying, we'd love to have you speak, you know, what groups are contacting you?
You know, I think what you're talking about is finding a purpose afterwards. And the book kind of digs into that, is, you know, how did I find purpose? You know, where you think you want to do something, and it's always been in your head that, I'm going to be great at this. And you go down that path, and you're like, I'm not feeling it. And then you're like, what do I do now? And so that's the part in the book where it challenges you to really think about what you're doing, how to do it at a high level, but is it the right thing for you? And are you passionate about it? And it's not if you're good at it, it's can you be good at it, and how good can you be at it? And so to answer your point, you know, I'll come in and I'll talk to small leadership teams, and we'll talk about culture and team building and that type of, you know, adversity and all the rest of that pressure. And then, you know, I'll talk to sales teams in bigger groups, and there'll be, you know, 600 or 700 people in the room. Or I'll talk to a conference, and there'll be 1,200 people in the room. And so the messaging varies based on what the client wants. And, you know, obviously it needs to be in my wheelhouse. You know, there's plenty of times where I'm like, you know, I can't do that. You know, that's not in my wheelhouse. And so you have to be, you know, when you're being booked, you got to be honest with the people and let them know, like,
Yeah.
no, I can't do that. What you're asking for is not something that I talk about or something that I do or something that I have unique insight into. I think everything that is in the book, I'm a subject matter expert in it because I've lived it my whole life. And so as I've dug into that, I would like to think that as my career has gone on, I've learned by watching other great leaders and people, played, obviously Scotty here in Anaheim, Steve Yzerman and Mario Lemieux and Gretzky. And, you go through the list of guys that I've been fortunate enough to play with. You can learn an awful lot if you're a sponge in a locker room and on the ice and all the rest of that. So you're able to kind of see and then get into management and kind of see what it looks like. And, so for me, it's really more just about making an impact with people as they read it. What direction are they looking at? Are they, trying to be better leaders? Are they trying to find new purpose, to your point? Where are they in their own unique journey? Which is why I start with that, the path that you're on and how it's your path, not somebody else's, not your parents. If you're a youth hockey player, it's your path. Do you want to play hockey? Do you like playing hockey? Do you like going to school? Whatever that is, and try to get them to then dig into that and then, go all in and own your decisions and own kind of what you're doing.
Do you open it up to Q&A on some of the unusual things? And what are some of that being said, then what are some of the really questions that impacted you that you've gotten that really have gone, wow, I have touched somebody because of the question that they're asking me?
Yes. It's funny. Sometimes you're like, as I'm looking at the crowd and I'm talking to them and you're making eye contact with somebody and you don't know if they're really like, because they're like,
hello.
They're not on the edge of their seat, but they're sitting there looking at you like this. And I'm like, oh shit, do I have the room? And then you're done and and then like I always do the Q&A in the middle of my speech.
Good.
I don't like to end on it.
Yep.
And so I start my talk. I'm like, all right, I'm going to pause here and we'll do a little Q&A and we'll start with the questions and you can tell by the first couple questions, quickly the hands go up or they're like, hey, I heard you say this, and they start getting into it. Now they're like engaged. Everybody else in the room is now, oh, well, that was a great question.
Yeah.
And you see them start getting engaged, and then you're like, okay, this is going good. And because they're asking good questions about what you're talking about, not who was your favorite player growing up.
Yes, that's kind of what I was.
I don't
like. Yeah, exactly.
Once moments like that happen when I'm in the room, I just start my talk again. Like once I lose their train of thought with respect to what we're talking about.
Once fandom shows up.
Correct. And typically it doesn't, to be honest with you, because they know I'm there to talk about. The book is not a sports book. It has sports stories in it, but it's more than that. So it's not your typical.
Sports is your vehicle.
Correct.
Of how
my
you got
career,
what you did.
sports,
French.
my career.
Well
Thank you.
And actually, that's a great
Appreciate
the vehicle.
it. You can use that later.
Not the vehicle he was looking for.
No. Dude, where's my car?
Yeah. Dude. But no, so it is a vehicle in a sense that, it's a supplement to what I talk about. A lot of the stuff is in the book, and they're able to then there's guidelines and stuff in the book, and I've got some cool giveaways and different things that I walk through. Like I have a cool QR code that I'll be putting on my website after that walks through like all my contracts and walks through my trade tree. Where just people that are interested in seeing all that stuff. I mean, it's all public.
Yeah.
So I don't care. And I'll put the trade tree, and you see all the different trades that I was a part of. And going back to the draft. So my draft year, Berkey traded. He had to acquire Sergei Makarov and, whatever. Then he had to move him plus draft picks to move up in the draft to get me. So there's all kinds of things like that I put in there that are kind of interesting.
Are you still under contract?
No, contract with who?
Bobby Bonilla Day.
I don't know. I think it was Philly, but then it was Phoenix or something.
Yeah, there was a few of that. No,
are you part of Utah right now? I mean,
if only that was true. I would love for that to still be true.
I'm going to lose this.
No, I think the last guy of all of those deals is Carey Price. This is his last year of those contracts.
Yeah.
And Ryan Ellis, I believe, is going off this year too. Though that's the last of those guys that are kind of like cap friendly to get you to the floor and all the rest of that. So now these teams that were utilizing us players that are retired, our contracts, to kind of get to the floor. Now, like, they have to get real players,
Yeah.
spend real money on players to then go out and fill out their rosters and get to the floor. So it'll be interesting. I think we're going to see, with the cap going up, I think we're going to see guys start pushing up.
Yeah, Brizgalov was on that.
He's still getting paid.
Is he?
Yeah.
But he's on their cap in a buyout. There's some buyouts that are still going out, but contracts that have
Ricky
been traded.
DiPietro,
Yeah.
right?
He's still getting paid.
Still getting paid.
Yeah, it's crazy. You're talking about journeys. It's post-hockey filling. It's almost like Prong. It's like even you, Gibo, and anyone, you're kind of filling a void. Yeah. I mean, you are go, and then all of a sudden, as you mentioned, you kind of put the brakes on, you're done. What do you do next? I know you went player safety, you went the Panthers for a minute in the front office. I mean, you have the whiskey, the book, motivational speaking. You had a travel company with your wife. Still do. Chris Pronger, the brand, is this gigantic umbrella, and there's so much underneath it. How do you like having all those different things kind of going at the same time?
I think you try to, I think you have to try different things without wasting your money. Like there's a line where, like I didn't invest much money. That the Journey whiskey that I did with my brother was just brought to us, and we thought we'd try it. Didn't work out, and so be it. But I didn't invest money into the deal other than the legal.
Yep.
Making sure all the paperwork was right. The travel company is still going. My wife's running that. It's doing very well. She's now building a super well community underneath that. Mm-hmm. That will be really cool, and I think she's doing an amazing job with that. And then obviously now I've got the book and the speaking and I've been asked to do a podcast. It's, as you guys know, it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
and it's hard. Like getting guests, but then filling time and trying to what are you going to talk about? What niche are you going to fill? And so I like being guests. Yeah, right now.
Yes,
right now.
Yes.
But yeah, there's always things you're looking at. You never know. Like stuff pops up, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now. It's fulfilling and it's making an impact on people. And as I said, if one person buys the book, they read it, and it makes a difference in their lives, then I'm glad I wrote the book.
Yeah, I mean, I keep going back in my own mind to the fact that when you play, you think it's lasting forever, and then it ends. And if you're lucky, it's in your 30s.
And you're young.
For me, it's 34.
Yeah, right.
You kind of feel like you're, I joked about it with my buddies as I got older. It was like, hey, when I retired, mentally I kind of felt like I was in my mid-50s, right? I worked my ass off. I played whatever, and it was finally time to retire. And then I woke up one day and realized I have like a 3-year-old daughter, and I'm like, I got a lot of bills to pay for the next, 100 years. And, oh my God, I think there's this notion of us, like you fulfill that, dream, you retire, and then you realize that you've got at least half of a life to live. And then what do you do with that next chapter of your life? And I think it's filling your day with something that you're passionate about, because we spend so much energy being passionate about really one thing. Yeah. And then, honestly, I commend you for just tinkering and trying all these things. Like,
you never know what you're going to like.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to be, whatever, director of player safety. See how that is, and be like, I have a lot of knowledge about that. By the way,
as Berkey likes to say, I got a lot of speeding tickets.
Put the biggest criminal in charge of the correctional facility.
I thought that was fantastic when he gets player safety. I'm like, oh my God, no one knows it better than Prongs. You know your
takes
thing.
A thief to catch a thief.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah,
that's right,
for sure.
Yeah.
But it is. I think it's great. It's a great lesson for all of us. I won't say how old I am, but I'm in my later 50s, and it's still, I'm trying, it's like, hey, Frenchie's like, we should do a podcast. I'm like, yeah, we should do a podcast. Why wouldn't we try a podcast? Like, if it works, great. If it doesn't, we had a great time doing it, getting
some laughs,
reconnect.
To some fun people. And
that's right.
So be it.
So,
well, what if you mentioned that earlier? It's like, if not now, when, right? That's kind of how I try to live my life.
And by the way, that also is in the book. Like, don't wait.
No.
Like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
I get, like, we're always worried about failing. Guess what? You're going to fail.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. At something.
If you're not failing, you're not trying. You've heard that before, right?
If you don't face adversity, you're not challenging yourself.
Right.
So there's always this, like, we get scared of failing. You're like, who cares? Like, get over yourself.
There's a
By the
word
way,
called fine.
Nobody cares.
Fine's not a good word.
No.
I'm fine.
Yeah, we've heard that before. How you doing? Fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yes. Jeez.
It's code for I'm doing shitty.
Should I dig into that further?
Yes. Oh, that's a loaded answer. What is that all about?
Yeah.
When you talk about motivation, and you mentioned some players, but is there a guy that resonates with you that you played with that motivated you, that was the guy, and whether it be just through actions or through words or through both?
With respect to like a mentor or
Anything.
just
Hockey,
somebody I
it
played with?
could be hockey, it could be someone you grew up with.
I mean, as it relates to hockey, I always just loved playing. Like, it just was a passion of mine. We played every day, my brother and I. We were in the basement, in the driveway, playing road hockey, up at the outdoor rink, or practicing at the real rink. Like, every day, all winter long. And in where we are from in Canada, that's a long winter. So we had a long time to do that. But then after that, and I try to tell parents, I try to tell kids, I played baseball. I golfed. I was a kid, and I rode my bike, and I went to the beach, and I did all the fun stuff, and we farted around. And then I played volleyball in high school, and then I played badminton, and then I did everything known to man that I could.
Yeah.
Just to, number one, be an athlete, because I enjoyed it, but also because it was, you shouldn't sports specialize at a young age. It's just ridiculous that we actually talk about this with 7 and 8 year olds.
Yeah, and nobody listens to our generation or even any generation.
Oh, they have FOMO and they're like, but everybody's doing it. I go, again, let me go back to earned. Just because everybody's doing it doesn't mean it's right.
Nope.
And you start walking through who are the best athletes to ever play a sport. We hear this stupid GOAT conversation all the time. I don't think people realize what greatest of all time. That's one person. It's not a bunch of people. Some of the great, if we were going to talk greats, not the greatest, but the greats of sport. Bo Jackson, multi-sport athlete. Deion Sanders, multi-sport athlete. Michael Jordan, multi-sport athlete. Wayne Gretzky, multi-sport athlete. Great lacrosse player. Like, you go through all these things and you're like, why are we being sport specific? Like, why at such a young age? It doesn't make sense. Don't we want to learn all the other attributes that these games have for us? And your body needs a break, frankly, from hockey. It's not a natural movement. So I always try to tell parents, I try to tell kids, like, you have to take a break. And also, it reinvigorates you when you come back. Like, I want to learn. I want to be more of a sponge. I want to understand the game.
I mean, you're fresh looking at, like, oh, hey, it's a new season. I can, and it is, I mean, I know we all get on our soapbox of sorts to tell parents that, but honestly, I think, it's the age of social media and all this stuff where, contracts, you like, oh, this baseball player just signed for, we just did it on our podcast, right? Guy who's never thrown a pitch, never even shown up in a Major League Baseball uniform, signs a guaranteed $95 million contract. Right? Good. So I didn't even hear about this. Frenchie's like, hey, there's this guy. He's with, and you have all the info. I can't remember the guy.
Seattle Mariners. And yeah, you're right. And he's, I don't think he's got, maybe he
like
played AAA
or whatever.
And is guaranteed money, $95 million, and he hasn't played a big league inning. And but you talk about the money and everything that's involved now, the salary cap not having one, the work stoppage having, all this stuff, all the stuff that could happen or whatever it is.
Is he by chance a Boris client?
You know what? There's a probably good chance he is. Probably a pretty damn good chance he is. But you, even in SoCal too, I mean, you mentioned in Canada, but baseball here, 365, and that's what you play all the time because you want to get noticed, you want to go to the right club, the right clinic.
You got to go to all these camps,
and all whatever
these
it is. Hoops, same. I mean, any sport you can go.
Well,
down
and that's
the
the thing. The trap is that you feel like as a parent you want to do the best thing for your kid, give them the best opportunity, and so you're like, well, I got to put him in this, or her in this, and this, But the allure of the money that is possible, I think, people are pushing the chips in as parents, right? They are mortgaging homes, and they are putting it on the line. And of course, now that there's NIL that gets into college sports, where you don't even have to look at making it to a pro level. Like if you could be a great,
look at that Carson Beck that went to Miami from Georgia, made $6 million.
Yeah,
like hello.
Now they're trying to stay 6 and 7 years.
Well, yeah.
They want eligibility and stick around.
Tell you what, I'm trying to get some NIL money
I'm
back from Hamilton.
I'm getting my master's degree now, and I'm getting my postgraduate degree, and I'm getting
the study of leisure.
I didn't even know. I think Carson Beck. I don't even know if he was still taking classes. There was something like he was registered as a student, but didn't take classes. But I guess that's the trap of whatever, and it is. It's great to hear also that
I get on my soapbox too.
Yeah, let kids be kids, and they'll be better for it.
Well, you think about it, especially in today's age, these kids have to grow up so fast with social media and all the rest of it. Like now, we're taking their it's getting younger and younger and younger, where it feels like a job, where it's like an investment, as opposed to, but we just go get a sweat, come away with a slushie and whatever, and let these kids enjoy it and be a good team. Learn how to be a good teammate. Learn how to socialize with people and all the rest of that stuff.
Without giving too much away from the book, obviously, because April 14th.
Yes, releases
is when it
to
comes
the masses.
Out. I got
you
that
can
right.
purchase it, by the way, just so you know.
We're going to say this over and over at the end, too. Say it.
Yes,
say
you
tell,
have the answer.
Tell everybody.
Yes. Just so you know, April 14th releases, Amazon.com. You can also go to chrispronger.com to buy the book. There's links and stuff. But also events page where you can see where I'm doing book signings and all the rest of that.
Did you write it with anyone?
I had somebody help me. Yes.
With punctuation.
Polish it.
That's you do.
I had somebody help me polish it.
Periods and
yes,
all those
she
things.
was fantastic.
That's fantastic. I wanted to ask you, when people read your book or when you are on stage, both, are there some specific hockey stories that impacted you, whether it be on the ice, and we had fun earlier in this podcast talking about Teemu and the Olympics and fun things like that. Yeah. Are there stories that you relate, some go-to stories that were very impactful, moments in the game that were impactful that you share with people?
Yeah, I talk a lot about when I was booed and just the weight of expectations and pressure and how that changes you, how that hardens you, and how that can make or break you. We talk about quitting. It's a lot of times you're like, do I really want to endure this again? Like, do I really want to be here? And then it's a matter of, well, how good do you want to be? How great do you want to be? Do you want to challenge yourself? It's not easy. Like you hear that all the time, but getting to the top and being successful is not easy. There is going to be a lot of pain and suffering. There's a lot of strife. There's a lot of heartache. There's a lot of failure, a lot of loss. And so you try to impart that on people and get them to understand, like, when you set a lofty goal, there's going to be some heartache and failure along the way, but are you willing to endure that and push through it to get to that area?
Is there one moment, those hard moments that you could share that you remember? I mean, when coming after,
I remember, specifically in St. Louis, it was probably like game 12-ish, 10-12, where I went out for a face-off, and it just a chorus of boos came raining down, and I'm like, what? And they're just booing me because I'm on the ice. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you're not even booing the other team, you're booing me? And I'm just like, well, this sucks. And then after that game, I'm going to my car. They used to park like in public parking. Mm-hmm. So I go out to my truck. This guy's waiting there to tell me I suck. And I'm like, you know what? I sat there for a second. I'm like, I'm just crushed. Just got booed the whole game. Just worked. And I'm defeated and I'm depressed and I'm just, this is not going well. This is not what I was expecting. And I go out to my truck, and that happens, and I sat there for a second, and I'm like, I kind of took it, and then I'm like, you know what? This is not right. And I'm like, do you have a problem? And I challenge the guy. I'm like, you got a problem, let's go. I'm not dealing with this crap no more. And the guy, of course, was like, and left. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you. Thank you for that. And then, just that moment times 10, moments like that would happen, and I'm just like, this is not good. And then ultimately I went and saw a sports psychologist that Mike Keenan gave me this guy's number. Went and saw him, and he just kind of challenged me to look at my preparation, challenged my mental outlook. Like, I had a victimhood mentality. It was always the fans' fault. It was always Mike Keenan screaming at me's fault. It was always somebody else's fault. And he's like, you got to look at yourself and take ownership of your career and your life and set standards and have an understanding that life's not fair and life's not easy, but you have to, you are the only one that can handle this situation and lean into it. And it will be uncomfortable and it won't always be easy, but if you can get past this part and, you know, the outlook on the other side of that is going to be good. Not great yet, but it's going to be good, and you're going to get past this low point. And I was as far down in the depths of despair as you might imagine. And so getting through that really kind of, anything else after that moment, you know, wrist injury, thinking about retiring, knee injury, back injury, you know, all the different, you know, the Edmonton saga and all these different things that happened were nothing compared to that moment. That hardened me. That gave me the grit and resilience that I needed for all those other moments, for losing a Game 7 in Edmonton in the Stanley Cup Finals, to then coming back to Anaheim and having an opportunity to win it again. You know, it prepared me and challenged me to look at things differently and be a sponge to learn from your teammates, coaches, people in your life that are there to kind of support you and be a part of your life.
Well, I want to, that's such great stuff. And what I bet most people don't know is how old you were. I should say how young you were.
Yes. Turning
pro, right? 18?
So when I started to get booed, I was 18, turning 19. Then my second year in Hartford, I was 19, turning 20. And then my third year in St. Louis, when it all came crashing down, I was 20, turning 21 as soon as the season started. And funny enough, John Hamm was at the game last night, and I did a podcast with him and Joe Buck, who were very young. You know, Joe was in his infancy of his career.
Yep.
In 1995 when I got to St. Louis. And John Hamm was actually a bartender at a restaurant bar I used to frequent after games and, you know, after practice. And, you know, he vividly remembers me coming in and, like, sitting at the end of the bar by myself many a day and night, you know, and he's, you know, serving up cerveza and, like, I'm trying to find myself somewhere at the bottom of that beer or whatever, and just they were not easy days, but you know, as you look back and you talk about writing the book, as you look back and you put pen to paper or keyboard to whatever, computer, when you put that on paper and you start to understand just the magnitude of those moments and how those actually helped mold and shape your character and who you are, not only as a player, but as a person, and you can understand kind of what could have been or might have been had you quit or had you gone a different direction. You know, it's pretty, you know, I think people will really enjoy the book.
I often wonder too, it's that gladiator mentality, and both you can speak to this, but you know, you are these athletes. You're not a person to a lot of people. Yeah. And the way that you're treated as such, you're an object, you're an entertainment piece. Vehicle. Vehicle. I'm going to get a t-shirt. What's your vehicle?
Yeah. Who's your vehicle?
Yeah, Who's your French?
Who's your vehicle? But it now, Prongs and Guibo too, both, I can't imagine playing in this day and age with social media and the way that the bullies and the cyber bullying and all this stuff happens and you see it. But you don't, I don't think people understand that you're people.
They're way more brave. Like, I give the guy who's standing by your truck calling you out in St. Louis, because I used to park in the same lot when I played in the Blues, and it was, I mean, there's no security, there's no nothing. You just come walking
there's just
out.
People everywhere.
Whatever.
It's free for all.
But now, like, anybody can say anything from anywhere. And true, not true, but people are way more brave when they don't have to walk up to you physically and say, hey, you know what? You suck tonight.
Yeah. Yes, I know. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would not enjoy it. I mean, I remember some KG veterans in St. Louis when I first started were like, hey, kid, don't open the St. Louis Post-Dispatch tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
You know if you played well. You know if you didn't play well. You don't need to read it.
Yes.
You know, whatever. So my advice is just don't read anything. Yeah. And so, I mean, now it's almost impossible. Yeah. Right?
Hey, did you see? No, I didn't.
When you handle the media, obviously, I mean, there's a point too, as we kind of bring this to a close. I remember, you know, obviously when you came on to Anaheim, got to cover you and watch you work a room. And it was fantastic, especially
kind of like this.
In the, well,
is this
yeah.
a sample size of it?
This is just
small
this is a small sample size, but
I had to just play against him.
Yes.
That's a completely different podcast.
You had 40 people, 3-4 deep around your stall, and just and you got to that point, and you really have to be able to handle people and be able to be thick-skinned at that point and be able to go through the journey that you're talking about to get to that point and to handle it. Well, Anaheim is tame compared to Philly. Correct. I mean, there's completely different thing there. But yeah, just to be able to do that.
And probably Edmonton.
And Edmonton is another story as well. Yeah. That's, and
not Hartford?
My favorite.
The Hartford Current? They were too busy at UConn.
Well, I will tell this story. This is my favorite Chris Pronger story for me, though. I always like to tell people is like it's the finals. I don't know what game it is. It's after the game. Again, it's like 40 people around him, whatever it is. And I'm in the front. I get there early, and all these people around. And literally, I mean, you were throwing elbows just to keep your space. I mean, it's like a water polo player under the water. You don't know what's going on,
Over the top.
And they're like, blah, 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 blah. And Pronger's like, whoa, 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 whoa. It's like, in-house, you go first, and it better be good. And like, everyone's like, who the heck? Who's this?
Who's in-house?
Who is this guy? And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, oh, man, here I go. It was classic. So, good stuff.
Yeah,
though.
you know what? And I try to tell, that's the entertaining part. It's like, you got to have fun with it. Yes, they're going to rip you. Like, I tell people all the time when I went to Philly, I'm like, listen, I met with them all. And I'm like, listen, let's get one thing straight. I'm here. I get whatever. You got a job to do. I have a job to do. I've got to talk to you, but I also have to build and grow the game and talk about the game and all the rest of that stuff. But I have 2 rules. Don't misquote me and don't lie. Anything other than that, I really don't care. Yeah. I'm not going to read your article anyways. To his point, like I'm not reading the paper. I'm not reading about it. Somebody might bring it to my attention and say, hey, you need to read this. Because it might...
Did you really say
that? It might
that?
not be accurate. And did you really say this? So, and I'll give them credit. They ripped me plenty of times, and probably rightfully so. At times, we didn't always play great, and we're not perfect. We're going to have bad games. But, when they do that, they have a lot of respect that I talked every single day.
Always.
One day I remember Zach Hill, our PR guy, goes, hey, it's a light day today. Take the day off. I'm like, oh, thanks, Zach. I'm like, is it because it's an off day and there's nobody here that I get the day off? But no, it was, you have to give nuggets like, oh, good Lord willing, we're going to play better. Like, who's going to write that? Like, you got to give the media something to write about, and they all can't get one-on-ones. So you have to give them something they can run with. Otherwise, they're going to make it up, especially when there's a lot of them in the room.
Yeah, I mean, again, great advice in veterans, and hopefully veterans are still giving the younger guys great advice. But someone gave me advice, is like, hey, kid, they're going to write something, so you might as well tell them whatever you want to tell them. It doesn't even have to be like the answer.
No.
So they could say, hey.
Don't answer the premise of the question.
And you can just start talking about anything you want to talk about. They just have to fill that paper because that's their job. So, like, you give them quotes of whatever, like, hey, I didn't play very well, but I want to talk about my defense. Like, what a great job they did. Or, hey, we got some great time.
Bone crusher, Bobby Dallas was phenomenal today.
The bone crusher. Every once in a while, I choose to deliver a bone-crushing hit at center ice. And here it comes, merely to excite the crowd. Really? It is a quote by the bone crusher.
Love it. It's fantastic. Yep. The book is Earned, April 14th.
April 14th.
Features Teemu Selanne.
The foreword written, if you read the foreword, it is written by Teemu Selanne.
And voiced.
And the audio book will be voiced by me and Teemu Selanne reading his foreword.
It's so good.
In Finglish. It will be in Finglish.
Finglish. So what's next right now for the book tour?
Back up to LA and then home. Then I'm going to Toronto for some book stuff and TV, and then back to St. Louis, quick TV, and a week of book stuff.
Before I let you go, though, I did want to ask you: do you like the TV stuff? Being the analyst on is it Prime?
Hockey night.
Yeah.
A few times hockey night, and then some Blues telecasts. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I actually, one of the things that I've noticed about doing national TV TV is you get a better, and even the local stuff, you get a better cross section of the league.
Yeah.
When you're playing, you're focused on your team. When you work for a team, you're focused a lot on your team and stuff around. You get a really good understanding because you're talking to media people all over the place, and you're getting what's going on in Anaheim. Hey, what's going on in LA? Hey, what's going on in Florida? What's going on in Montreal? And you're getting all these little tidbits and understanding of kind of what the hot button issues are in the marketplace, and what can you talk about, and what are people going to be interested in. And so that I've got a much better overarching view of kind of what's going on around the league, and it's been pretty cool.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thank
It
you.
was nice.
Thank you for being a part of the
tracking you down. Earned
book tour. And
April
don't worry,
14th.
I did not create that scar.
It was, I showed my
Can we
daughter.
Photoshop that out?
I am a witness.
Let's Photoshop that out.
Do you remember Massive Head Wound Harry on a Saturday Night Live? I showed my daughter that skit last night. That's your dad. That's what I did right there. April 14th, the book comes out.
Yes, sir.
ChrisPronger.com. You can find it.
Amazon.com.
Amazon.com. You can find the book. Thanks for joining us. And don't forget about this podcast.
Yes,
right.
The Mask
Hey,
and the
promote
Mic.
this podcast.
We got to promote it.
Promote it.
The Mask and the Mic, or The Mask and the Mic YouTube channel, or The Mask and the Mic and Instagram. And you can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Boom.
Boom,
Got
done.
it in.
And then my social. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, go. Find out where Chris Pronger ate dinner
Go to
last night.
ChrisPronger.com, and everything's on there.
Beautiful. All right, man. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right.
Thank you.